been really interested in merging the imagination with reality. I like optical illusions, and I like tricking the eye with what's real and what's not. I studied special effects back in 2001 at the University of Arts in London. It seemed like a good starting point for me. And there I learned how to cast body parts, I learned how to make and set wigs, and also sculpt and apply prosthetics. Once I was given an assignment, and that was to make something hairy. Got given a needle, a bunch of hair, and some transparent lace. Could hardly see it. And so my nearest target was my 4-year-old cousin. So he soon became complete with chest and armpit hair. And I like this image because, yeah, it's almost believable. And also, he was really not up for this at all. I had to really pin him down. But yeah, so soon after graduating, I found a much more powerful way to trick the eye, and that wasn't in the medium of movies, but in the medium of human bodies, real-life medical patients. And soon after graduating, I got a job at a medical company, sculpting realistic-looking prosthetic limbs. There I learned how to make fingers, partial hands, partial feet, liners, which is the interface between the socket and the artificial limb, full arm and leg covers. So the prosthetist would be the person who would make the socket and fit the componentry, but I would make the outer skin. I remember making 11 fingers for 3 people with the same surname at one time and thinking, what the hell is the story behind this? And also, all the other jobs that I made, you know, I'd rarely get to meet my patients, and you're tenderly making this job that they're going to accept as part of their own body. And I was always really curious. Very occasionally, I would get to meet the patient, and it would be really rewarding seeing my work being worn, but also hearing their feedback. And losing a limb can be alienating and disempowering, especially under traumatic circumstances. And for the patients, they would say that actually seeing your body complete again, as nature intended, gives a sense of, you know, self-confidence, body balance, and most of all, and most importantly, control. But not everybody feels this way. And I was there for 8 years, and out of work, I met other amputees, and they'd say, well, actually, Sophie, I don't feel like that. I don't really, you know, I don't see my limb in that way. It's a medical device. It is what it is. Why should I feel that I need to blend back into society? Yeah, I'm just true to what it is. And so it really made me think, you know, what would I do? If I was an amputee, would I have something realistic looking, or keep it, you know, bare structure? Or maybe I'd do something a little bit different. Maybe I'd personalize it in some other way. Now, the imagination and reality really kind of kicked in for me when I met 4-year-old Pollyanna. Pollyanna is playful, imaginative, and she really brought you into a world of make-believe with her. Every year, I'd make her a realistic lead cover, and she wants something a little bit different. It started off with her favorite cartoon, which is Peppa Pig. I don't know whether you've got that over here. And so she had all these little pigs riding bicycles and eating ice creams around the top of her leg. And then another year, she had pictures of her family and friends, all embedded in the material, all around her leg. And she would interact with her leg, and so would all her, you know, family and friends. They'd be like, "Hey, Pollyanna, when am I going to feature on your leg? And you know, what are you going to have next time?" And so I could see there's something really interesting happening. And you know, this was for her. You know, it wasn't something that she had to do every year. It turned into something that she wanted to do every year. And so from a rehabilitation point of view, I thought, this is really powerful. This is, last time I saw her, I hadn't even finished, I hadn't even given her the leg, and this is what she drew for me. She said, Sophie, this is what I want for my next leg. I'd like a leg with loads of drawers in it. I'd like a spare drawer at the top, and I'd like another drawer for like pens, stickers, one for rubbers, and that's an eraser, by the way, and one for pencils. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So I really made me think, well, if I could make some really, truly alternative-looking limbs, there must be some people out there that would really, perhaps see their limb in a different way, maybe like an accessory or like they turn into like a walking piece of art. And if no one wanted it, then I'd make some anyway, and then it would create some kind of dialogue about human body and difference and celebration. And so I thought, well, I'm going to set up the Alternative Limb Project, which is what I did, and 3 years ago. And I still make realistic limb covers, and I get to meet all my clients, but I very occasionally make an alternative one. Now, I needed to find someone who shared the vision, and that's when I trawled the internet and I found Victoria Modesta, who's a she's a singer and a performing artist. And this is the first leg that I made for her. Now she, or leg cover, I should say, she was born with a withered leg, and she had countless operations, and after bullying at school, she just found that actually, this leg's not getting me anywhere, I'm going to have a voluntary amputation. And she has never looked back. Now this is the first piece that I made for her, and I was really curious to know how it felt wearing this. And she said to me, Sophie, it makes me feel totally unique, and it gives me a sense of mutant human in the best way possible. So, well, that's pretty cool. So simultaneously, she happened to be rehearsing for a part in the Paralympic closing ceremony. Now, they were just going to get her to kind of have her usual leg, which is shaped to, the same as her other, and no one would be the wiser that she was an amputee. But she said, hang on a minute, this is all about difference and celebration of that. And actually the slogan, I think, for the Paralympics in 2012 was, meet the superhumans. So she said, hang on, I know this girl, right? And she can make this leg really cool. And so they're, okay, right. So I came on board, and soon her leg was encrusted with crystals, and there were chunks taken out, with shards, and it became quite a spectacle. Now she's working on a short film, which includes like a glossy black, how do I describe it? Glossy black, faceted shard point of a leg. And then there's another one which has been chromed, and it's got like a white bone running down the front, and this really lights up. So it's got lights inside and a clear case on the outside, which is shaped to her leg. But it doesn't have to be just a standalone sculpture or a walking piece of art. It could be a space to be used in a combination of ways. So this is an arm that was made, and this has got a secret compartment, a compass, a watch, a magnifying glass, a couple of knives, that's a bit dodgy, and a telescopic magnet. And I ask other people, what would you have if you could have an alternative limb, and all sorts of ideas come to mind. You could have like a slick device in place of an arm which houses office equipment, or like a leg that you could flip up and use, a keyboard, like a wireless keyboard. All sorts of things. And, giving talks at schools as well, that just like, it soon becomes like a competition as to how much you can get, how many gadgets and gizmos you can get in your limb. Now, this is Veronica. This is the first time Veronica wore a skirt since her accident 4 years ago where she was cycling and she collided with a lorry. And she's got an intelligent leg. The componentry allows her to power up steps, and she wanted to be true to what it was. So rather than covering it in foam, she opted for something slick, sexy, and futuristic. So it's got a secret compartment, a metal knee plate for kneeling, a flip at the back so she can still charge the leg, and in the knee, it looks like a turbine engine. This is my favorite limb that was created for Ryan, ex-military. He lost his leg in an IED, and this, he wanted something organic, striking, and futuristic also. And so he said, actually, I really want to see my foot again there, Sophie. So if you can make my toes look realistic. So I took hairs from the back of his neck and made his toes look really hairy, like the others. And he's got like these removable muscle plates that clip on and off. Now, it gives me great pleasure to welcome a lady that just happens to be here in San Francisco. This is one of my clients, Louise Bruton. Hi, Louise. How you doing? So, I think the audience here would probably like to know, what inspired you to get an alternative-looking limb?
Well, this October will be the 10th anniversary of having my leg amputated, and in the last 10 years, no one has ever thought that my prosthetic leg was real. So I've finally come around to the thinking that if no one's going to believe it's real, make it seem totally surreal.
I think so. And also, what's your experience so far with wearing in fact, I think you've got a name for the leg.
Yeah, I call her Priscilla, after the Queen of the Desert, and she has been having a great time. With my regular leg, I've always noticed that people will look at it in a curious way, but they'd never ask any questions. But now, with Priscilla, they want to know everything about her. So she's given me something that I lost years ago. So with Priscilla, I've reclaimed the leg I lost 10 years ago.
Thanks, Louise. And I think, you know, people like Louise are transforming the public perception of amputees and giving other amputees as well greater confidence about expressing their difference in positive ways. And that's something that's not defined by absence, but I think transformation. That's it. Thank you, Louise. Thank you, everyone.